Mr. Trump, thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
Mr. Trump, when you announced for president on the 16th of June, you said, and I'm going to quote you, the U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. It's coming in from more than just Mexico. It's coming from all over South and Latin America. You have said that you feel offended that you have been misquoted by the mainstream media, but I want to give you the opportunity to explain what exactly you meant to say by this that I just quoted.
Well, exactly what it says. We're having people coming in through the border that are not people that we want, and frankly, they're not people that Mexico and other countries, I talk about other countries, I talk all over South America, Latin America, I talk all over the world. We're going to have terrorists coming in through the border. We have no protection. Mexico's taken advantage of us, and so are many other countries. And it has a lot to do also with trade. And the whole Univision thing, I think they were frankly more interested in the trade situation because I respect Mexico. First of all, you have to understand, I love Mexican. I love the Mexican people. I love Mexico. I've had tremendous relationships with Mexico for many, many years, tremendous relationships. And frankly, that's very important to me. But I'm referring people coming through this border. It's very porous. And frankly, it's disgraceful from the standpoint of the United States. Now, when it comes to trade, the leaders of Mexico are far smarter than the United States leaders. Our people don't know what they're doing. Our leaders don't know what they're doing. They are totally taking advantage of us from a trade standpoint. You're having auto factories being built all over Mexico. Every single thing, the Mexican leaders, and I respect this. If you can get away with it, it's great. Every single deal, the Mexican leaders are out negotiating our negotiators. And I think it's a disgrace. And I think from the United States standpoint, I'm ashamed of our negotiators and our leaders. I respect the Mexican leaders for being able to do it. But Univision didn't like it when I said that because they're so strongly based in Mexico. And as far as I'm concerned, look, I'm running for president. I'm at the top of the polls. And one of the reasons is I wouldn't let that happen to the United States.
Okay, let's do something. Let's separate the issue of trade from what you said about the United States becoming a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. And you say when Mexicans send its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending people like you and like me, to quote you a little further. They're bringing in drugs. They're rapists. Is this what you think of the Latino community in the United States, many who have come across the border to participate in this country, that have American dreams, and that participate in the economy of the United States?
Not at all. But many bad people are coming in. And I'm not talking Mexico. I'm talking about from all over the world. And I say that. They're coming from all over. Many bad people are coming in. You're going to have terrorists coming through the southern border. There's no question about it. We have no security from the United States standpoint. You have guards. You have border guards standing there, and people are walking by them waving. We have no idea who these people are, where they come from, and we're having tremendous crime waves in that area, and then they're being sent all over the United States. Now, this has nothing to do with Mexico other than if you want to become a citizen of Mexico, it's almost impossible. And yet Mexico allows these people to flow freely right through Mexico, right over our borders, and it has to be stopped.
You say that.
And by the way, the leaders of Mexico know this, and they laugh at the stupidity of our negotiators and our leaders.
You say that terrorism and terrorists can get through the border. There has been, as you know, not one case of a terrorist crossing the border from Mexico to the United States that has participated in a terrorist act. The ones that did so on 9/11, as you know, came from the Middle East and flew in here, many with visas. But back to the issue, sir.
Jose, you don't know that. You don't know that. You can't tell me that. If terrorists come, nobody knows. We don't even know where these people are all coming from. They're coming from all over. They're coming from South America. They're probably coming from all over the world. So when you say we don't have terrorists, you don't know that. Thousands of people are coming through the border, hundreds of thousands, and they're unchecked. So you can't tell me there are no terrorists. You may find out tomorrow that you were wrong.
Occurred by Mexicans or other Latin Americans that have crossed the border.
see what happens tomorrow. See what happens in 2 weeks from now. You can't say the terrorists, and I'm not even talking about terrorists from this region. I'm talking about from the Middle East they can come in. The border is totally open. Anybody can come in. It's very easy, and it shouldn't be that way. And the problem that Univision has with me is that I'm honest about trade and I'm honest about the border. And so therefore they violated a contract and they defaulted on a contract. It's a total default. What they did, Jose, is a total default. They signed a 5-year contract with no outs and they said, oh, well. And by the way, Univision called me and they apologized for what they're doing because they felt so stupid and so guilty.
What do you mean they came and they called you and to apologize because they felt stupid? Essentially, what they're saying is that they will not show either Miss USA or Miss Universe. Essentially, what they're saying to Donald Trump is you're fired.
No, they're not saying that at all. What they're doing, they called me today and they apologized for what they're doing. Because I think, frankly, the government of Mexico and others, I'm not going to say, it'll be in the lawsuit. You'll see it in the lawsuit. You'll read about it as soon as I file the lawsuit, because we have a very big lawsuit against Univision. But they called me and they apologized for exactly what they're doing. They're not allowed to do this. They have an ironclad, I'm pretty good with contracts, Jose. I assume you know that. They have an ironclad contract to broadcast Miss USA and Miss Universe. They have an ironclad. They can't just do this. So they did it, and they called me this morning like a little lamb. So, we shouldn't. They're apologizing to me for what they're doing because what they're doing is wrong. And what they want me to do is not talk about the terrible trade deals that the United States is making with Mexico. The United States is being out-traded by Mexico every single time. And because I'm running for president, and by the way, leading in the polls, because I'm running for president, I bring this up. They don't want me to bring it up. You know why? Because the Mexican government doesn't want people to know about this because they want to continue to rip off the United States. I don't blame Mexico for that if they can get away. But if I got elected, you'd never be able to have this happen.
You said that you would build a wall on the American side, tall, and that you reminded everybody that you know how to build and that you would make Mexico pay for that wall. Tell me how you plan to do that.
I would build a wall when necessary. I would build a wall and Mexico would pay for it. Mexico's made a tremendous amount of money off the stupidity of the United States. They're continuing to make even more money. Every day they make more and more money. Mexico will pay for that wall.
Cada vez que la vida nos estremece inesperadamente, nos damos cita e investigamos para que tú estés bien informado. En el Rojo Vivo estamos conectados con nuestra comunidad, con sus necesidades y sus urgencias. A las 4, 3 Centro. Somos tu primer frente de información.